Security cooperation refers to all activities undertaken by the United States Department of Defense to encourage and enable international partners to work together to achieve strategic objectives. It includes cooperative training and exercises, foreign military sales, and other programs focused on building strong and enduring security partnerships. Security cooperation is increasingly regarded as a tool of first resort in U.S. foreign policy. It has become a whole-of-government effort that enhances the capacity of the United States and its allies and partners to respond to shared security challenges. The United States is stronger through security cooperation. Over our relatively short history, the United States has conducted security cooperation by fostering foreign partnerships, entering alliances, providing arms and materiel, and, in some cases, fighting wars around the world as an allied force. Security cooperation has been and will continue to be a major contributor in keeping our nation secure. History is replete with examples of security cooperation, aligning forces and resources to expand influence, maintain economic or military order, and deter or defeat common threats are practices that have existed since the dawn of humanity. Empires and great civilizations have expanded or fallen, in no small part, on the success of their security cooperation efforts. Indeed, our own Continental Army may have lost the Revolutionary War with Great Britain had it not been for military and financial support from France. American security cooperation has been in the making ever since. Whereas historically, great powers tended to adopt a transactional form of security cooperation, the United States has sought more collaborative partnerships. Since the aftermath of World War II, our security cooperation strategy has further evolved into its current form. A uniquely American approach shaped by 70 years of national alliances and conflict, as well as presidential leadership and congressional legislation and oversight. Our values-based approach is more than arms transfers. It includes institutional capacity building, international education and training, humanitarian assistance, and committed long-term partnerships and alliances. After the devastation of the Second World War, the United States provided basic necessities and economic support to its allies and former enemies through the Marshall Plan. In Europe, shifting political landscapes had a direct impact on everyday lives. In June of 1948, the Soviet Union, once an ally, blockaded major transportation links to West Berlin. During the Berlin airlift, American and British aircraft delivered food, water, medicine, and coal for almost a year. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization was formed in the spring of 1949, and the borderline between NATO countries and the Soviet bloc became known as the Iron Curtain. On the other side of the world from Europe, the American military presence in Japan led to a collective security agreement in combination with economic reconstruction and support for a new democratic political system. Notable for its longevity, the Mutual Security Treaty, signed in 1951, consolidated a peaceful alliance between the United States and Japan that continues today. During the Cold War, military basing in Japan enabled the United States to counter Soviet expansion in the region, particularly in the Korean Peninsula and in Southeast Asia. In the early period of the Kennedy administration, the threat of nuclear war with the USSR loomed large. Seeking non-military engagement options, Congress passed the 1961 Foreign Assistance Act. This act envisioned a community of nations working together to promote world peace through self-help and mutual aid. The Act and subsequent amendments operationalized international development along with standards for human rights, foreign military sales, and export controls on military equipment. Over time, U.S. security partnerships expanded, and training and weapons sales to partners substantially increased, and in 1968, Congress passed the Foreign Military Sales Act. This act established financial ceilings for the foreign military sales process, while increasing accounting and reporting requirements. In 1971, the Department of Defense centralized military assistance programs under a new body, the Defense Security Assistance Agency. Decades later, this became the Defense Security Cooperation Agency. Congress redesignated the organization in the late 1990s due to the growing list of administrative responsibilities it acquired through additional legislation, such as the Arms Export Control Act of 1976. Signed by President Ford, this law put limits on what American companies could sell, mandated end-use monitoring of certain categories of defense equipment, and provided the statutory basis for direct commercial sales between a country and a United States arms manufacturer. To this day, Congress maintains oversight of weapons sales above a certain financial threshold, and the Secretary of State supervises all defense transfers as a tool of American foreign policy.
The United States is therefore prepared, as the President determines, to take all necessary steps, including the use of armed forces, to assist any member or protocol state of the Southeast Asia Collective Treaty requesting assistance in defense of freedom.
Despite the establishment of nuclear non-proliferation and arms control treaties with the Soviet Union in the 1960s, fears of growing communist influence led to war in Vietnam. What started out as a limited advisor mission by the United States evolved into a 20-year conflict, claiming nearly 60,000 American lives. By 1973, President Nixon extracted U.S. troops from Vietnam with the promise of peace with honor.
Good evening. I have asked for this radio and television time tonight for the purpose of announcing that we today have concluded an agreement to end the war and bring peace with honor in Vietnam and in Southeast Asia.
Nixon's efforts towards Vietnamization led to a large-scale expansion of foreign student slots in U.S. military training schools. Today, the practice of training our security partners has expanded through the well-known International Military Education and Training, or IMET program, which prepares hundreds of future leaders from foreign security forces through professional education programs at military universities and training grounds each year. Taking office in 1977, President Carter developed the first conventional arms transfer, or CAT policy. His directive promoted restraint in arms transfers and placed the, quote, burden of persuasion on those who favor a particular arms sale rather than those who oppose it, unquote. Subsequently updated by Presidents Reagan, Clinton, Obama, and Trump, the CAT policy has become a means for an administration to clarify its position and its guidance on arms transfers as a tool of foreign policy. President Carter also chose to take an active role in facilitating peace in the Middle East. In September 1978, he invited the leaders of Israel and Egypt to Camp David. After 13 days of negotiations, they announced a framework for peace, which provided the foundation for a peace treaty between Egypt and Israel. A month later, Congress appropriated billions of dollars in foreign assistance to both countries, which continues today. Those efforts strengthened and altered U.S. partnerships in the region for decades to come. However, our nation's extended energy crisis, the hostage situation in Iran, a failed hostage rescue attempt, and an end to a long-standing security assistance relationship with Tehran ultimately diminished the success of the Camp David Accords.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
As a new decade began, President Reagan and his administration intensified Cold War competition with the Soviets. In his 1985 State of the Union speech, Reagan called America's attention to anti-communist movements underway in Afghanistan and Nicaragua. The so-called Reagan Doctrine became the fulcrum of American foreign policy. Transfers of new weapon systems to NATO and other longtime allies increased over the next decade. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 was a turning point, and post-Cold War threats became the focus of subsequent administrations. A year and a half after his inauguration, George H.W. Bush was confronted with Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. One of the largest military coalitions ever assembled achieved notable interoperability through its integrated weapons systems and shared military tactics. During the staging and the execution of the First Gulf War, influence, access, and basing in the area of operations were byproducts of security cooperation relationships built over the prior decades. Non-stop media coverage of the war provided the world a showcase for high-tech weaponry, boosting demand for American military equipment and training long after the war's conclusion. During the 1990s, an emphasis on domestic priorities reduced funding to the Department of Defense and coincided with massive consolidation within the U.S. defense industry. This heightened the need for the Department of Defense to monitor the competitive capacity and technological superiority of the U.S. defense market, both concerns that continue to be of importance in a rapidly changing global economy. Following the attacks of September 11, 2001, the administrations of President George W. Bush and later President Barack Obama led an international coalition which engaged threats on several fronts, first in Afghanistan, then Iraq, and ultimately around the world. As in the Gulf War, the United States activated an extensive multinational coalition built since the Second World War. With increased congressional funding, the United States redoubled its efforts to build foreign partner capacity and expand a variety of security cooperation programs. These included exercise planning, train and equip efforts, theater exercises, and humanitarian assistance. The United States tailored these tools to its partners to ensure they had the capacity to absorb, apply, and sustain new military capabilities. Building partner capacity gained even greater attention after new legislation passed in 2017. The impetus for the National Defense Authorization Act was a chorus of voices both within and outside of the U.S. government and Congress, critiquing an unwieldy security cooperation enterprise. The act consolidated and clarified existing security cooperation authorities that had been established 5 decades earlier. It also established a significant assessment, monitoring, and evaluation program, mandated a trained professional security cooperation workforce, and led to the creation of the Defense Security Cooperation University in 2019. Since World War II, the United States and its allies have, together, recovered from global conflicts and emerged from the Cold War, despite some bitter lessons and setbacks along the way. Each conflict, threat, and new alliance has led to security cooperation as it exists today, a unique and flexible enterprise that has proven itself capable of responding to a rapidly evolving security environment while holding steadfast to our nation's values. Looking to the future, security cooperation and the relationships it engenders will continue to play a crucial role in achieving U.S. foreign policy and national security objectives.